Good morning. I'm Mayor Tommy Roberts. Welcome back to the Mayor's Table. Joining me once again this week is City Manager Rob Mays. Rob, welcome back.
Yep, good morning.
Rob, last week we talked about the new sobering house and the associated joint intervention program, a new program that expands upon a pilot program that was started and concluded about a year ago. I want to talk about a related topic, and that is the downtown street inebriate issue and the recent enforcement actions that have been undertaken by the Farmington Police Department. I'd like you to talk a little bit about what has been done over the last month to 6 weeks downtown with respect to enforcement.
Yeah. Well, the CHIP program was a good discussion, and that is about trying to help people that want to be helped to intervene in their lives and try to see if we can get them out of the cycle. We want our public to know that there is a criminal element involved in this, and we take that very seriously as well, and we want our citizens to know that our police department is very active in keeping our streets safe and doing all we can within the law, within compassion, within good best practice police work to maintain our safe streets. So one of the things that we work very hard through our what we call our DCU unit, our district coordinator unit, is to be out in the street and to talk to the merchants downtown and around the community to know what kind of challenges they're facing. And this is a repeat complaints about the visibility of intoxicated subjects, and we're very active. One of the things we've done is gone around with an education to try to help people understand just exactly what is against the law and what isn't.
Well, in that respect, Rob, I think it's important for our viewers to realize that being intoxicated in public is not a crime. It's not a violation of the law. Most people are very surprised to learn that fact. Most people would tell you that being intoxicated in public is a crime, and if they know that it's not one, they'd probably have the opinion that it should be a crime. So we walk a fine line there, and it creates some issues for enforcement. How are we walking that line?
Well, and to emphasize your point, that issue has been challenged many years ago and settled in this state all the way to the Supreme Court. It's clearly not illegal to be intoxicated. It's illegal to possess alcohol. And it's also not illegal to be asleep on a park bench. It's actually not illegal to be asleep laying in a park on the ground. And so sometimes when people see things that they believe are criminal acts, they're not. The police department has to walk a very fine line because we're very cognizant of people's constitutional rights and being sure that we don't violate them. So, but however, when there is crime involved, we're very serious about it. So what we do is there's actually an ongoing emphasis of downtown all the time with officers assigned to it. But on occasion, we do what we call kind of a blitz or kind of a real focus effort. One of those just happened to take place during the month of December. Coincided with our holiday events down there around the Civic Center. And so we ran a month-long overtime patrol where we made 31 arrests for alcohol offenses. But 85 of those individuals that had been reported as suspecting criminal actions were in fact had not committed a crime. They were contacted to be sure that they were okay and a kind of a welfare check. But they had not committed a crime, and there was really nothing we could do as far as free citizens to be downtown and sit on benches or sit in parks.
I think the job of enforcement in this particular problem area is a very difficult one. And we have to rely on our police officers and we have to rely on their training to accomplish that job in a very reasonable way. I want to commend our police officers who have been assigned to that detail and who work on that detail for the compassion with which they have approached some of these people who are downtown in a state of inebriation. I think it's very important for our police officers to realize that these are human beings who have very serious problems to deal with. I'm proud of our officers in that they are dealing with these people compassionately. Our focus continues to be to try to get these people to a place that is safe in the near term, and then in the longer term to get them some help. And that takes us back to the Joint Intervention Program. I want you to just briefly talk about the cost of enforcement during this blitz period during
Okay.
the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, we spent a little over $9,000 on overtime and on this special project. And one of the things I meant to mention before was one of the elements of this enforcement was we had quite a lot of officers in undercover clothes down there interacting amongst the community, walking up and down the sidewalks, because one of the things that we had heard reports of, at least anecdotally, that there had been an increase in aggressive panhandling. And so we had people out walking and interacting in a way to see if they were, and we actually just had very, very little, if any, reports of people aggressively panhandling. They were just the standard normal alcohol violations of people in possession. And again, we went into a somewhat of a no tolerance policy of arresting people that had alcohol and doing all we can. And as you mentioned, one of the goals here is the police get to know these people, work with the court system, and do all we can to try to divert them into the JIP program instead of get them out of that cycle.
One of the concerns that we have is about the impact of street inebriation on the health of businesses downtown and their ability to conduct their normal business, and to the extent, try to ascertain to what extent this problem impacts the conduct of business downtown. I don't think we've had any evidence that businesses have been impacted in terms of their ability to do business. Are you aware of any reports of that kind of impact?
I'm not, and also even in analyzing the crime data, we've had very little what consider criminal actions in terms of anyone being attacked or certainly muggings or those kind of things. We just have had little to no of that problem. It's the consumption and possession challenges that we've had. One thing I wanted to emphasize that if people do see something that they're concerned with, to call 911. And we'll look at it as quickly as we can. And certainly if they view something that is criminal in nature, that we'll respond to it as quickly as possible.
In closing, I want to simply stress that this is an issue that we have our eyes on. We will continue to provide enforcement activities in the downtown area on a regular basis and as needed. And we realize the importance of having that perception that our downtown area is attractive, it's welcoming, and we want to do the best that we can for those people who operate businesses, who own property, and who invest in downtown. I want to thank you for joining us here on the Mayor's Table. We'll look forward to seeing you for our next segment.